Yeah, I don't even know what time it is sometimes. It feels that way. All right, 5 practices in the row for our team. We go again tomorrow, so we'll have 6, and then we'll have a recovery day. So, this is about stacking days together for our guys, and it's also about managing them a little bit. So we managed some players today. But, we're looking for, today specifically, much more about the mental than the physical. Yesterday was a very physical day. We were outside 2 hours. Guys had to really fight through the elements and fatigue. Today was much more about staying inside and focus on one play at a time. So, working on the skill of focus, helping our guys, manage that and being their best one play at a time and stacking plays together. So that was kind of the emphasis today. And we also had some graduates today. Jordan Gilbert graduated, Chris Hilton, Princeton Malbrew graduated. Emory Jones came back, Makai Wingo, Kobe Roberts, Slade Royd. So proud of those guys and finishing off the mission and graduating from LSU. So with that, we'll open up questions.
Just Whit Weeks not practicing today. What's his status? And then Garrett seemed like he maybe didn't do everything. Is he part of that management?
Yeah, just managing the load. Whit, we're not going to have him practice 5 days in a row until we get into game week. So today was his day off. He'll be back out there tomorrow. He'll scrimmage tomorrow. Nuss is much more about managing his throws. He hit a number of throws where we give him some time to back off a little bit. He'll be back out tomorrow, full go, scrimmaging tomorrow. Again, it's just maintenance on some of these guys with workload.
Was Chris just absent for graduation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Xavon Thomas, just his role this year looks to be a little bit expounded, I guess. What did he do in the offseason to warrant that attention, and what is he showing you guys now?
Well, I think the first thing that stands out is his leadership. He's been great in the offseason. I think there's a more of a comfort level in how things are done here on a day-to-day basis coming in from Mississippi State. Obviously he impacted our team last year, but we just felt like his role could be expanded. He's a talented runner of the football. He certainly, from a wide receiver standpoint, helped our team last year. We think he can help us even more. So it has grown, that role. But I think it's grown because he's handled it so well in all the other areas as well. He's been a really good representative of what we want to do and how we do it. And we're going to reward guys like that have that ability.
Jakeem Jackson just sort of getting him back. What was his injury and what's his sort of
He had a
status
slight
now?
hamstring, probably a grade 1. So we wanted to be certain that when we brought him back in that we didn't have any reoccurrences.
And how have you seen sort of the synergy between the cornerback room and the safety room as we've sort of gone through camp here? Do those two sides seem a little bit more interlocked in any sort of way?
I'm not sure what you're asking, but
Communication between those two areas.
yeah, I think communication starts back at the safety position. And I think we've got 2 guys that do a great job back there. I think Deshaun has grown immensely in his communication back there. And Javion, along with, Tamarcus and certainly AJ. Those 4 guys have done a really good job of getting us lined up, communicating effectively, which has, in fact, made it, from a perception standpoint, look like, there's a lot more continuity and consistency with the group because they're doing a really good job. We're really running, until Jakeem had a little bit of a pull, we were running 6 corners out there, and that's a lot. So you better have great communication. I think your question is grounded in, I think the ability to coordinate things on the back end starts with the safeties and their communication, and it's been really good.
Hey, Coach, your offensive line, are they becoming more comfortable, or are they how are they developing here as we get close to a game in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I've coached, for a long time. I've got a lot of guys in the NFL. a lot of first-round draft picks. I think I got a pretty good eye for what an offensive line looks like. This group is going to be really good. We don't have a Will Campbell, right? He's the 5th pick in the draft. But we have 5 guys that play well together, and it starts with the center. Our center position and Braylon Moore kind of sets up the rest of the group for success. His combination work is outstanding. His recognition of fronts, getting us to be an elite offensive line. If you have a center that can kind of set the stage for that, it allows everything else to kind of fall into place, and it's starting to fall into place quite nicely.
Kind of a two-parter. Just when do you guys expect to start installing stuff for Clemson in preparation of that game? And I guess the follow-up would be just how close are you guys to defining roles for players and kind of getting that all settled before that game?
Yeah, we started Tuesday, working towards, Clemson demo, if you will, scout, however you want to use the words. We started to look at, going up against their fronts and certainly their offensive structure. We began that on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll do a little bit more tomorrow. So, we'll get in 5 days this week, a full week next week, and then our 3rd week. So it'll be a week more than any bye week that you have. So we'll have no excuses about recognition of scheme.
Coach, over here to your right, Michael Van Buren looked like he threw it well today. I know it's indoors and against air a lot of time. How's he coming along? And secondly, scrimmage tomorrow. You're going inside Tiger Stadium, simulating 6:30. What are you looking for from the scrimmage tomorrow?
Yeah, I thought Mike did a really good job today. I mean, he's making really good progress. A lot of this is, being in a new offensive structure. A lot of it, and I would say Michael has grown so much since the spring in terms of recognition, footwork, progression reads, all the things that you need to be a high performer in this offense. He's getting better at that every day. It was a great day for him because he really got a chance to take virtually all the reps today, and so it's a great opportunity for him to gain even more confidence. So we're pleased with his progress, no doubt. We want to be able to duplicate a night game the best we can. So we, give our guys the opportunity to feel the night experience. We'll have the boards lit up, things that will distract you. We have to work on that so they don't get distracted by the noise and the boards, lit up. And so that really is the emphasis tomorrow, is scrimmaging in that kind of environment.
Brian, if I could get to, is it common to start that early preparing for your opener? It'd be 18 days if you started on Tuesday.
I think I've had teams that I haven't started on an opponent until the last week because we had so many question marks about so many different parts of our offense, defense, and special teams. This one has been, I think, driven by the fact that we have some veteran players on both sides of the ball that allowed us to transition into our opponent a little bit sooner. But there have been some years that have been later, and right about now, we didn't start until Saturday for USC last year. So that's 5 days ahead, in terms of preparation. So I think it's year to year, team to team.
And then at what point, thank you, at what point do you start to cut down on so much of the rotation, or do you start to establish starters?
No, I want to continue the competition. I think it brings out the best in everybody, and some of our areas of concern last year were that we didn't have any depth and we didn't have that competition and we couldn't keep the, a sharpness, if you will. And so we're going to continue to keep the reps in a manner that allows competition for all players.
Coach, are you concerned at all about the security at the Nicholson Gateway Riverbend, considering reportedly some guns got in there by non-residents and with Lindsay's situation?
Well, this is all about who is in your circle. right? I'm not concerned about our university and the security and such. This is about who do you give access to in your circle, right? I mean, your circle of influence has got to be based upon people that you trust, people that know you and you know them. And that circle needs to really be evaluated by some players and some individuals. And it's not just players, it's anybody that can gain access through what you have, right? And if you're going to give that up to somebody, it's going to allow access to areas that they shouldn't be in. So this is really about individuals understanding, and in particular players today, right? I mean, you know, they're making revenue share money. They're targets too. You know, people want to ingratiate themselves with people that are making, you know, substantial amount of money. And so you've got to be careful. And my point is this, you know, we're in an age where, you know, you've got to keep your circle really close. It's got to be family members. It's got people that you elicit information from in a manner of mentoring you. You start to widen that circle because somebody said nice things to you on Twitter. You know, buyer beware. And that's really the message to our team. No, I have not firsthand, but I'm a parent, and I'm concerned about it. And so generally what prompts me is not what's other people's opinions, it's my own. And my own is, you know, I want to help educate these guys and about who's in your circle. And you have to be very, very thoughtful, and it's an area that they haven't really have had to be vigilant on. They have to be much more vigilant about that now.
Is Jawan Johnson officially back at running back? You did make that.
We're going to
switch
hold a party. There's going to be a party later. We'll have balloons, they'll all, and then he'll jump out of the cake and say, "I'm a running back." You set that up pretty good for him. He is focusing his time at running back at this point, and that's his focus right now.
How involved do you think he'll be in the offense?
I think he'll be very involved. Yeah, I think he's going to be an important part of what we do.
Bernard Gooden has had quite the fall camp. What have you seen from him?
I'm sorry, who has?
Bernard Gooden.
Bernard Gooden. No, he's done a really nice job. Look, you know, we were specific in what we were looking for at that position. You know, Sadir Mitchell is 340 pounds. Sean Washington is 315, 320. We had some big fellas. We wanted somebody that could move, that was athletic, and he fit that bill. And he's continued that in camp. Now he's got to do it, you know, play in and play out in the SEC. But he's been fun to coach. He's bought in. He brings a lot of energy every single day. I know Coach Williams enjoys coaching him. And he fits with what we want to do in certain situations in terms of the movement up front.
Brian,
Yeah, what's up?
Patrick Peyton, what have you seen from him this preseason? What are kind of your expectations going into the year?
I think he's going to impact our football team. You know, some people show up differently. You know, he is a player that is still learning the position in which he's playing. Just working on his drops, for example, you know, coming out of a system where he wasn't in that. He was strictly a rush end. So there's been a little bit of a learning curve for him, but I love the way he comes at it. He's very conscientious, and I think when it's all said and done, we're going to have pretty good rotation of players coming in and out of the game.
Coach, in the past, you said 4 yards is a successful run.
Well, it could be less. If it's 4th and 1 yard's a successful run.
Right. But if it's tough sledding, you're not getting what you need. How do you guard against, with all the weapons you've got, a receiver, tight end, and so forth, getting away from the run game, you know, with you're wanting to get it back to where you want it to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything else, right? You have to trust it and be confident in it. And trust and confidence can't be built if you don't do it. And so you have to be committed to it. I think it's like anything else. We have to be committed to those situations where everybody knows you're going to run the ball and you still have to run the ball. That to me is the litmus test. How good's your run game? They know you're running it. Everybody knows you're running it, and you still run it. I think that that's what we're going into this season with, that mindset of there's going to be times that you know that we're running the ball, and we have to impose our will on you. Look, one of the most difficult jobs is to move somebody against their will. You know, it's an offensive lineman moving a defensive lineman who doesn't want to move. Sometimes that's just mental. But if we're easy at coming off that, right, that determination of wanting to run the ball, then they will be too. So we got to be a little bit hard-headed sometimes and impose our will from that perspective. Good? All right, thank you.